So, good morning and welcome to our sitting here on April 2nd. And I am feeling very happy or comforted, settled even, to be able to come to do a sitting like this with this growing community of people that I feel this wonderful connection to. And so thank you for being here. I think it's easy in this kind of circumstance that we're in, a global crisis, to feel that sitting down in meditation is not a good idea, not appropriate, that we have many things to be concerned with, both for our own life and for maybe the lives of loved ones, and for issues of the globe and people and the poor and the people who are struggling the most with what's happening. And so the pull into the world and the concern would be kind of normal and perhaps also quite healthy. However, it's also good to pause and to take care of one's own mind and heart, so to better prepare ourselves for knowing how to be in the world and how to be of help and how properly to be concerned for others. And the time to take time out to meditate is not much different these days than taking a little bit of time out to wash our hands. And just as we wash our hands to make ourselves more safe for the world and better able to take care of things, so we wash our minds and wash our hearts. And the inward focus, the settling that we have in meditation into the present moment, is not an escape or turning away from the world that we're shutting it out, but rather is that kind of pause to wash ourselves, to prepare ourselves, to be ready to come back into the world in a better way. So with that as a introduction to what we're doing here, I hope that there can be a love even, and a delight and a great valuing of the purpose of settling and being here with one's own experience. That we do this both as a way of maybe even love for ourselves and love for the world. Just as we maybe would wash our hands these days for a love for ourselves and a love for the world. So to begin, to sit upright, or some people I'm sure are still in bed and laying down, and take the posture that you think is best for you to sit and meditate, where you can effectively begin to let go of the external world just enough that you can be cognizant that whatever is happening to you in the moment is happening in the present moment. So if you are thinking about the world, or yesterday or tomorrow, later today, that there's a clarity that this is happening now. It's a present moment phenomena. And to see it as present moment phenomena begins the process of freedom, begins the process of cleansing ourselves from some of the extra clinging, attachment, extra fear and worry that keeps us glued to our preoccupations. And then to gently close your eyes, and as an act of self-respect, self-love maybe, check in with yourself. Check in with your body and how it is. Check in with your heart, how you're feeling, your emotional state. And see it as a present moment phenomena. Something to recognize in a simple, open-handed, open-minded way. And to check in with your mind, your concerns, your thoughts, the degree of clarity or dullness it might be in the mind. The degree of agitation or calm. The degree of well-being, ease, or unease. And again, just to recognize this as what's happening in the present. There's something powerful about the simple recognition, simple observation that this is happening in the present. To see that clearly creates space. And then to more deeply go into this inner process of maybe cleansing is to take a few long, slow breaths. Maybe even imagining that as you exhale, you're just letting go of all external concerns, knowing that if they're valuable, you'll return to them later, if they're important. Breathing in deeply, and on the exhale, reminding yourself that for these minutes, you'll be here, recognizing whatever arises and passes in the present. And then letting your breathing return to normal. Taking a few moments to soften and relax your body. And perhaps if there are places that can relax, that as they relax, feel a settling in around that part of the body. Settling into the three-dimensional substantiality of your body. And settling into your breathing. And you might, if it's helpful, imagine that the rhythm of breathing in and out is like the rhythm of your hands washing each other. Just a gentle washing of all that takes you away from the present. A gentle rinsing it off so the mind and the heart can move towards a greater simplicity, to less agitation. Slowly it becomes stiller, breathing in and breathing out. Here, in this body, in this inhale, in this exhale, Each inhale complete in itself, no before and after. Each exhale complete in itself, no before and after. And whatever pulls you away from the breathing, see it as present moment phenomena. And in that observing of present moment phenomena, perhaps there can be a bit more equanimity, space, maybe a bit of freedom, simply recognizing it, seeing it. Each moment of recognition, complete in itself. No need to be concerned with before and after. What happened and what is coming. Each moment allowed to be the moment of the present. If you stay close to your breathing will support you in present moment awareness. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, to the degree to which we have stepped away a little bit from our everyday life to meditate, to the degree to which you're now maybe a bit calmer, steadier, more mindful, maybe even wiser. What is it about how you are now that can instruct you or inspire you of how to return to your everyday life, to pick it up, to engage today, tomorrow? Meditation is a kind of stepping away from the active involvement with life so that we can step back in a better way. One of the common phenomena of human life, and also spiritual life, is to withdraw so that we can return in a better way. We do that to sleep. We do that to take a shower and clean ourselves. We don't bring all our family and friends with us into the shower. We go in to clean ourselves and to return cleaner. So meditation is the same. And the question is, when you're ready to return, how might you return to help create a better world for everyone you meet, to lift the burden, to lighten the suffering, to bring greater happiness and well-being? May it be that our practice together, there's so many of us sitting together, may the goodness of the sitting radiate and spread out for us into the world. So I'll now continue with the 5-part series on the faculty, the divine faculty of mindfulness, of Sati. And this is the 4th of the 5-part series. And the first 2 days I talked about the kind of initiating mindfulness, of showing up, waking up to the present. And then that second day I talked about how mindfulness can include recognition, the clear recognition of what's happening in the moment. Both those can be momentary phenomena. You can return to a moment of mindfulness, and that's valuable. Then we get pulled away or involved in something, and a little later we can come back to a moment of mindfulness. And the recognition also can be very powerful. And the more clearly and fully we recognize, there's more freedom in the experience. But that also can be momentary or very brief. The third aspect of mindfulness that comes along more strongly as mindfulness gets stronger and the pull of thoughts in the world lessen is mindfulness as observation. We're able to kind of sustain a perception and awareness of what's happening in the moment. And this observation is a phenomena that occurs, we can say it's in the present moment for sure, but it's sustained through time. And so we're beginning to develop a capacity for concentration, for steadiness, of kind of lingering and staying with the experience. And it'd be kind of like observing a river going by, just watching it flow by, and we can sustain the attention. It can be very relaxing and even mesmerizing, I guess, absorbing, to just watch the river go by. And that's a sustained attention that's relaxing, nourishing, settling, can be very nice for people. So as the mindfulness gets stronger, it takes the quality of observation. And that's kind of the Buddha's word is the observation, to look towards, to watch after. Anupassati is the word. And so one of the qualities of this observation is that as it gets stronger, it builds equanimity. Observation is very simple. It just simply observes. Observation doesn't interfere with phenomena, doesn't need to judge it in and of itself. Just like you absorbing the river going by, we're just watching it go by without judging it or preferring a different river or trying to stop the river and flow a different way. It's just kind of allowing it to be. And of course, there are times in life when that kind of awareness is not appropriate, but it's also very powerful as a way of building up equanimity. And the equanimity, the more we're reactive, the more we're judgmental, the more we're greedy or hateful or attached to things, the more helpful it is to cultivate greater and greater equanimity. And that's one of the functions of this observation factor of mindfulness. And equanimity is not just for its own sake, but so that we can start seeing the world in a clearer way. And certainly in the world, when we're out in the world and people in society, we tend to be wiser if there's kind of tranquility and equanimity as part of our engagement and our care and concern for the world. When it comes to meditation practice, where we're doing this withdrawal, stepping back and really settling into our experience, as we get more equanimous, we're also less and less seeing the experience through the filter of our ideas, our commentary, our judgments, and the stories. The observation gets simpler and simpler. And because the observation is happening through time, and because there's less and less overlay of stories, ideas, me, myself, and mine, what it means for me, what's happening, predictions of the future, just a willingness to kind of rest in the moment with the flow of experience, that we start seeing that flow better. They start seeing things arising and passing, start seeing things coming and going, start seeing the change. And that change is not only the change of external phenomena we sense, but there's this wonderful interplay between the changing nature of what we're noticing and the changing nature of what's happening. Because attention generally doesn't stay fixated on one thing, but it also kind of moves and oscillates. And if you're following the breath, for example, and if you're really attuned to the flow, the stream of breathing, there's all these different sensations that come into play. And why the mind settles on one sensation more than another, and this inhalation, it's aware of more the pushing of the diaphragm, then next inhalation, a little bit more the pushing of the chest. Sometimes it's aware of a little more pressure, other times a little tightness. And the mind itself, the attention itself, kind of gently moves around and is in more or less settled on the breathing, but it picks up different things, and so it kind of moves around. And so there's an inconstancy, there's a changing flow of what we notice because of the mind gently kind of taking in different things. If you tune into pain, it's very interesting to tune into physical pain, if it's not too strange, if it's not too difficult. And if you really pay attention to it, you might see this interplay between the sensations of pain being little pixels of discomfort, of tightness, pulling, and all that happening, and also the mind kind of moving around between those all pixelated little pieces. That when the concentration is really strong, the mindfulness doesn't pick up a solid mass of pain, but there's a dance of sensations going on. And I hope that if you do that, you're not in too much pain, because that doesn't work maybe. But so one of the movements as this observation factor of mindfulness gets deeper and deeper is that we switch away, the mind switches from the storyline, the idea line, the concept line, the thinking about things, to observing the changing flow of phenomena. It isn't so much that we're looking for change and looking for how everything's changing and inconstant and arising and passing. It's more like we just keep settling and observing and being and allowing the observation, allowing the recognition to become stronger and settling in and relaxing into the present moment. A lot of what mindfulness is relaxing and opening and allowing the natural functioning of attention to operate and observe in a simpler and simpler way. And so then to go deeper, and then we start seeing the impermanent, the changing nature of phenomena. Now, some people, it's easy to wonder, why do that? Why is that important? It might be that the concerns we have in our life are big and important and need to be addressed, and it could feel almost like a betrayal to what's important in life, to step away from it and do this very simple, rudimentary kind of resting in the changing flow of sensations and perceptions that rise and pass, where after a while there's not even any clear sense of body and time or things in the world. There's just this flow of sensations. That can't be any good. Well, certainly there are times when the world needs us, and it's more important to be taking care of what's going on around us. But as I said in the end of this meditation, a very common human process that's used in all kinds of areas, very secular, ordinary daily life areas, in spiritual areas, in ritual, that this is a kind of an integral part of human life. The idea there are times of stepping away, followed by times of stepping in, times of withdrawal, and times of return. And meditation is like that. It's a time of stepping away from everyday life so that we can return in a different way. Then the different way that Buddhism gives most emphasis to is to return with freedom, where we're not clinging and attached to things, where there's an ease and an openness and a happiness, settledness, and a greater capacity for heart qualities, a greater capacity to care for the world and have compassion, have empathy, have kindness, have friendliness, have appreciation, have delight in the good that's around us. And for that to come back to the world that way, it really helps if we can let go of preoccupations, let go of the things that we get caught in that stand between us and this open awareness of the world and presence in the world. And so one of the ways that Buddhism does that is through mindfulness practice and meditation. Each of these steps that I talked about involves some letting go. So just the initiating mindfulness of the moment, we're letting go of something to wake up for that moment. Take the time to clearly recognize what's happening is that's a different activity of the mind than just going along with business as usual in the mind and keep thinking. It is a letting go for a moment of what's ordinarily happening to step back and recognize what's happening. To settle back and observe, we're letting go of what, again, pulls us away. And it's a deeper letting go that needs to happen to really be able to stay in the flow of observation of the moment. As we start seeing and being in the river of life, the flow, the stream of things appearing and disappearing and coming and going and changing, at this very much deeper, primary, kind of fundamental layer of our experiential life, it becomes clearer and clearer that clinging to that doesn't work, that trying to block it and resist it doesn't work, and that that clinging to it doesn't work, blocking it doesn't work, that what most works, because it doesn't work because it's suffering, to really feel the stress, the tension involved in the wanting and the pulling away and the desiring and the conceit and in the planning and all the things that we do, becomes more and more evident as the flow of arising and passing is observed and we're settling back in it. And it turns out that it's a very effective way to begin letting go of some of the deepest places of holding that we have. And we let go deeply so that, I would think, I hope, so that we can come back to the world with open hands, with an open heart, and an open mind. That this process of mindfulness and meditation is one that we're here to benefit the world. And I think that that's a natural process. I think it's a natural to want to benefit the world if we've done the deep inner work of freeing ourselves. So then we'll have one more short talk tomorrow, kind of final talk on mindfulness. And I'm enjoying giving these talks. I hope that they're nice for you and supportive for you. And I very much appreciate the chance to be with you. Thank you.